We are back. So sorry for that. There was a bit of, I don't know what happened there, Delene. I'm very sorry. I
No
disappeared off
problem.
my own live stream. I'm going to ask you to start all over again. I deleted that half video there, so I'm going to just start all over again. I
No
am
problem.
Annette, and for Happening News, we are talking to Delene from the Little Green Store in Sonacre, and we are talking CBD oil. Now, Delene, we started by you explaining to us what is CBD oil.
Okay, so basically, what CBD oil is, we have this wonderful plant called the cannabis plant. And with this plant, there's lots of components to the plant that can help and heal the body in many, many different ways. Okay, so let's start at the
Yes,
beginning on it. So, first of all, everybody's body's got a cannabinoid system. And yeah, we believe the reason why we're stuck with so many elements these days is because our cannabinoid systems has been starved for such a long time. So as soon as you start feeding your cannabinoid system with tiny bits over a long period of time, that's basically how you shift your health, because you are kickstarting this whole system in your body that has been dormant for quite some time. But tonight we are talking about a little bit more about how to choose a cannabis oil and what to know when choosing a cannabis oil. And
yes.
yeah, which one do you need to choose when it comes to feeding your cannabinoid system that I talked about just now? So basically, when it comes to the cannabis plant, it has lots and lots of different components, and each component of the plant has a different benefit. So basically, how I usually explain the cannabis plant to everybody is to help everyone to understand the plant a little bit better. I usually compare the plant with wine, for example. All of us knows about wine and they're quite familiar to wine. So the cannabis plant kind of works exactly the same as wine. So when it comes to wine, we have red wine, we have white wine, we have rosés, and with the cannabis plant, we have indicas and we have sativa. And then when it comes to red wine, for example, we have cabs and shirazes and merlots and pinotages. And when it comes to indica, inside the indica range, there's also different plants that can have different benefits. And also in the indica, in the sativa side, we also have different plants. But when it comes to the cannabis plants, they got a little bit more creative with the names. For example, instead of calling them merlots, pinotages, and shirazes, they call some of these plants Transkai Gold or AK-47 or Girl Scout cookies or Pineapple Express. So yes, basically when it comes to cannabis, there's lots of different plants, there's lots of different strains, and each one has their different benefits. So for example, with the indica strain, it's the strain that kind of brings down more the calmness and relaxing part to the
Okay.
body when it comes to healing. And the indica is more the one that we use when it comes to medicine, but or the healing purposes of it. But yes, the sativa also has its place, because the sativa part of the strains is the one that brings the energy, opens up the creative
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Yeah, puts that little bit of extra skip in your step in a day. So both strains has their benefits. You, when you choose an oil, you kind of need to think beforehand, what do you want from it, and what's your needs, and that's when how you decide which one of the strains will benefit you more. For example, if you want to use the cannabis oil to reduce pain, or you want to help it for sleep, we will definitely go rather towards the indica strain than the sativa. When you want to go and run a marathon and you need some extra energy, we will go more for the sativa. Yeah, for say, for example, fatigue and things like that. Then you will rather go for a sativa strain. But
Okay.
yes, So yeah, there's lots of things that you need to consider when you want to buy an a CBD oil. So, and then the second thing is everyone is different. So um
Yeah.
not if not the same oil is not always going to work for the person next to you. So what we have done at the little green store is we have done lots of the research for you. So we have an oil available at the store that is compatible, a oil and a strain that is compatible to most people. But yes, you will get
Okay.
that odd one out that it doesn't work for. But obviously, then we have other oils for that as well. So
So
it's
you
not
can
just for.
cater. You can let me just wrap up here. You can
Mm,
cater for all health conditions, for whatever I need the CBD oil for. You have something that is like almost want to say a broad spectrum, like you get a broad spectrum antibiotic. You've got something for the broad spectrum. But if I'm one of that one out of 10,000, you will still be able to assist my needs.
yes, definitely, because
Okay.
we have more than one oil at the store available
Okay.
that can help. So yeah, if the one, it's kind of when it comes to using cannabis oil or choosing a cannabis oil, you have to play around with the strains. You can't just use one oil and say in a box and says, ah, no, cannabis is nonsense. It doesn't help. It's more just maybe a case of you haven't found the strain that works for your body.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
also when it comes to dosages, and yeah, there's no recommended specific dosage for each person. You need to kind of play around with the dosages until you find what works best for your body. So we have a recommended start of dosage that we recommend to our clients. But yes, you kind of needs to play around with that. For example, also cannabis oil, um, like I keep on saying, everyone is different. So the oil takes some time to build up in your system. Most people see results from day one, but other people see results only from day seven because the oil takes about 7 days
Um,
to build up in your system. It's
yes,
all a
yes.
process of you just keep on going until you find what works for your body. And yeah, then there's also lots of different digestive methods that I would like to clear up a little bit as well. um, yeah, so like we all know, you can smoke the plant, you can drink the oil, or you can eat an edible. Each one of these three different digestive methods also have their benefits. So it's not
Okay.
just for choosing an oil that you have to choose the right oil that works for your body. Then, secondly, you need to kind of choose the digestive method that will work best
That
for your
suits
body,
you.
that suits you.
Yes.
Okay, so let me explain. So when it comes
Yes.
to
How
oil,
how will I choose? Now
okay,
that's what I need to know. How will I choose?
first of all, okay, so let's start with the oil. So with the oil, it's
Okay.
microdosing. So you drink tiny bits over a long period of time. So you're microdosing your cannabinoid system and feeding your cannabinoid system and kickstarting this whole system in your body with tiny, tiny bits over a long period of time.
Okay.
So that's basically how the oil works. You microdose with tiny, tiny bits. When it comes to, for example, smoking the plant, smoking the plant also has its benefits, but smoking
Okay.
the plant is a very, very high and a very low. But say, for example, somebody has an anxiety attack and the person is here on the floor struggling, and you want to get that person, the fastest way to get that person out of that state. If you can get that person to smoke, that will be the fastest way to get the person out of that state of anxiety, because the
Understand.
smoke is immediately in the bloodstream and it's immediately effective.
Sure.
So if you can get that person to smoke, that will help the person the fastest way. It will help the person faster than what the oil would have been able to help or an edible would have been
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
help. So then secondly, when it comes to the edibles, because it's a different preparation process, the CBD and the THC releases in a different way. So from the edibles, you can get the high feeling. Obviously, we are in um, um,
Mm, mm.
limited to how much THC we're allowed to add to the edibles. But yeah, from the edibles, you can get the high feeling, but um, the CBD and the THC releases in a different way, like I said. But with the edibles, you get much longer relief from an edible than what you will get, say, for example, from the oil or from smoking the plant, because with the effect with the edibles, the effect lasts much longer. So when it comes to sleep, or when it comes to severe pain, or um, say for example Parkinson's, I would rather recommend using an edible than the oil or smoking, because that person will get much longer relief from an edible
Longer.
than from
Mm,
anything
mm,
of the other
mm.
two digestive methods. So yeah, each digestive method has its benefits, and you just need to know when you do buy any of these products that you do not buy it around the corner, because you don't know what's in the
What's
edible or things
in
like
there?
that,
That's
or what's the dosage in it. The other thing with the edibles is, which is kind of very tricky, is with the oil, for example, you can measure your dosages. So you know exactly how many drops you need to get your
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
the effect that you want, the effect that you need. But with the edibles, it's a little bit more tricky to say exactly how much CBD is in this part of the gummy or in that part of the gummy. So it's a little bit more tricky to measure your dosages when it comes to the edibles.
Mm, mm,
Or say, for example, smoking. Smoking, you don't know how much you
mm,
or what
mm.
exactly you are smoking, because yeah, selling the raw product is still illegal. Um, yeah, so each part of the digestive methods have their benefits. You just need to figure out what works best for your
Which
body.
one?
Microdosing is obviously the favorite, because yeah, the idea of cannabis oil, or idea of using edibles and things like that, our idea is not for you to walk around high the whole time. Um, the idea behind the cannabis oils and the edibles is for you to be able to cope and feel better and
Mm.
heal in the process while doing that. The idea
Yes,
out
yes.
there is not that the stigma out there is that if I drink my cannabis oil, I'm going to walk around high. No, that's not the
I
case.
want to stop you right there. I want to talk more about that. There is still a thing about cannabis and cannabis oil and the usage of thereof. So it's considered a stepchild when it comes to treatments. So we're just going to take a short ad break, and when we get back, I want to talk some more about this myth about, like you say, people are thinking when they buy it from your store they're going to walk around high. So we need to bust that myth right
Yes.
after this. We take care of you 100% the natural way. That is the promise that you will get from the Little Green Store in Sawnacre. And tonight we have Deline, owner and founder of the Little Green, talking to us like every once a month. And we are talking CBD oil. And just before the ad break, we talked about the fact that people think when you buy any CBD product or CBD based product, you will walk around on a high. Is that true?
No, Annette. It's like I said, the cannabis oil, what it's all about, it's about tiny, tiny bits over a long period of time. And that's the way you shift your health. The idea is not for you to walk around high. Secondly, I always, how I explain the bottle of oil to everybody is I compare it, like I compared it to wine, and I compared the little bottle of oil to a bottle of brandy, because we all know it quite well. So first of all, when you stick to the dosages, you're not gonna get high. It's exactly the same like brandy. If you drink one shot brandy, you're not gonna get drunk, right? If you go and you drink the whole bottle of brandy, obviously then you're gonna get drunk. So it's exactly the same with the oil. If you stick to the dosages, you're not going to get high. If you obviously go and you drink the whole bottle of oil all at once, then you are going to have a very good night's sleep,
Mm-mm.
but still no harm has been done to your body.
Yeah.
Where if you drink the whole bottle of brandy, your liver is going to give you a very
Take
big
some
upheaval.
punishment.
Yes. But with the oil, if you're going down the whole bottle, you're going to have a very good night's sleep, yes. But still, absolutely no harm has been done to your body because you're basically treating your body with veggies and spices. It's a plant. Um, there's absolutely no chemicals in there that can do any harm to your body except for your body to feed your cannabinoid system, and then this whole system starts to fix whatever needs to be fixed. So yeah, that's also why we recommend that you eat the gummies, for example, in the evenings before you go to bed. Because if you do get the high feeling, then you sleep right through it, and the CBD and the THC and all the elements of the plant can do its job right through the night, while you are fast asleep. And yeah, basically all of that also promotes better quality sleep, and the body can only heal itself when we go through the 5 stages of sleep. So sleep is very, very important. Yeah, so basically you drink your oils and eat your gummies before you go to bed. You get better quality sleep, and the components of the plant does its work while you are asleep
You are
and healing the
sleeping.
body. Yes.
So choosing your CBD oil is just as important as choosing the method of your digestive system, how you will be taking it in. And when you are like most of us, unknown to the product, you won't know what you'll need, how much you'll need. That is when you speak to the expert like Deline. Deline, just tell our listeners and viewers where and how they can get hold of you.
Oh, Annette, before we get to the where and the how, there's one more
Yes.
thing that I want to just mention when it comes to choosing an oil. Um, that, yeah, choosing an expensive oil doesn't always mean it's a better quality oil. There's also three different extraction processes that they're currently using to extract the cannabis, the CBD from the plant. And yeah, so basically, when you go and look for a cannabis oil, also ask about the extraction process that they have been using.
Okay.
There are three different extraction processes. Um, the one that they use is where they extract the oil through huge amounts of alcohol or benzene or ethanol, and usually
Mm.
that is when you get these syringes with the big thick tarish type of sticky oil. I like to call it the sticky oil. So basically, what they do is they boil the cannabis through these huge amounts of alcohol, and then afterwards they filter these the residue from the alcohol out of the oil, and then after filtering all this residue from the alcohol that they use to extract, um, there's still some of the residue stays behind in the oil, and that one is one of my least favorite extraction processes that they use at the moment, because you still get some of that alcohol's
Mm.
residue that stays behind in the oil, and that residue is not very healthy for you. That's the one process, and usually that one is one of the more expensive extraction processes that they use, because these huge amounts of alcohol that they use can get quite expensive. So that's one of the extraction processes. The other extraction process that they use is the CO2 extraction process. This is where they literally create the CBD in a laboratorium in Switzerland, and then they import these. It looks like a white crystalline powder that they
Mm.
import from this laboratorium. It's also a very good extraction process, but also not one of my favorites, because yeah, so basically what everybody does is they get a very nice carrier oil, because just remember, the body can't absorb CBD on its own. It needs a carrier oil to bind with your body's
Yes.
with your system.
Okay.
So they get a very nice carrier oil. They get their white crystallized powder from overseas, which costs a little lot of money to import. And then they scoop out this crystallized powder into the carrier oil, shake it, and boom, they've got a fantastic product on the shelf. But yeah, for me, it's a kind of last time I checked the cannabis plant had leaves and stems and buds and pips. It wasn't the white crystallized powder. So eh, well,
I hear what you're saying.
it's not my favorite either. The extraction process that is my favorite is heat and agitation only. So we literally have a machine. We put our carrier oil inside this machine. We put the plant inside, and then what the machine does is it heats it up and stirs, heats it up and stirs, and then basically everything that was in the plant gets infused into the carrier oil. There's absolutely no chemicals added, and there's no huge amount of heat that goes through it.
Hmm.
And yeah, the product is as natural as possible. So
Sure.
yeah,
That's very interesting. Very
yes.
interesting.
So when you go and
Delene?
buy a cannabis oil, make sure that you know what you want out of it. Make sure you know about the
Yes.
strains that it has available. Make sure that the strain that they are using is compatible to most people. If not, ask for a different one. Don't just give up on the oil because the first one didn't work for you.
Work.
Um,
Okay.
it is incredible what these oils can do for people. We have seen uh, really incredible results from it. And then secondly, yeah, ask about the extraction process that they use. Make sure there's no more harm being done to the body, that there might be
Yes.
hiding some extra little tiny
Something.
chemicals that
Sure.
yeah, shouldn't be there. Yeah,
Sure.
so that's
Delene, for our viewers and listeners that's not from Cape Town, will they still be able to buy from you if they are interested or make contact with you from on your website? We will give that details as well. Let me type it in here while we on. It's www.thelittlegreenstore.
yes, .co.za.
Okay, as easy as that. Let me just put it up here. Greenstore.co.za. And just a contact number as well.
Okay, my number is 083
083
262
262
7246.
7246. Okay, I'm going to put it on the screen. But if you missed the website address or if you missed let me just put it on. There we go. No, wrong one. There we go. So if you do want to make contact with Celine, you can visit the website www.thelittlegreenstore.co.za or you contact her on her telephone number. But she's on Facebook, on all social media. And if you really can't find her, just send us a WhatsApp or send us a message and we'll be sure to get the message to Delene. Delene, I would like to next month talk a bit about the edibles and if you could maybe bring some with and show them to our viewers as well. Because
I
that's
can do
really
that.
intriguing.
Yeah.
I
I've
find
had
it very
some
intriguing.
incredible results with some of my clients. One of my clients, he was on scheduled 6 sleeping
Mm-hmm.
medication, and he was very skeptical about the edibles, and now he just can't stop talking about it. So yes, I would love to tell you all about that.
Wonderful. Yes, I would definitely also like to know more about it. So I think we can start talking about the different digestive processes or the methods of using CBD oil. But for personally, I'd like us to start with the edibles. Delene, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
It's
chatting
my
to us.
pleasure.
And and after all the gremlins that we had.
No problem. Thank you, Annette. It was lovely
Thank
talking to
you.
you. Have a
Till
wonderful evening.
next
Bye.
month. Bye.
Bye.